A classic holiday bundle is just the thing to get a console moving, and Nintendo have perfected the form with the Nintendo Switch. But not every region has the same bundles, and the choices of which games to package with the system give an interesting insight into the unique characteristics of different markets and the way Nintendo perceives the utility of their core franchises. I thought, therefore, it would be interesting to have a look at the different bundles on the various world markets this year and see what inferences we can draw. Firstly, though, let's consider the purpose of a bundle, and here I'm talking about general holiday bundles rather than game-specific ones, often around bespoke hardware, though obviously many major games have been celebrated with a bundle pack, but usually with some kind of bespoke model switch, such as the Pokemon Let's Go bundle back in 2018. To the consumer, it projects value that you have both a system and a product included in a bundle pack. It makes purchasing easier as you don't need to go and buy multiple items, and this ease probably appeals particularly for Christmas gift giving. Then again, for Nintendo, it also risks presenting the games as something that come, air quotes, free, and they are incredibly determined to prevent such a narrative and to preserve the impression of value around their titles. Small wonder, therefore, that Nintendo has previously had a rather dismissive attitude towards bundles. It took Reggie Fils-Aimé all his argumentative powers to persuade Satoru Iwata to overrule Shigeru Miyamoto and permit Wii Sports to be a pack-in title for the Wii in the American market. In 2008, there was a certain relish in the way that Iwata-san shared this graph and stated, "This graph shows the European home console hardware sales. While the graph shows a similar trend to that of the US, promotions on PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 have been more aggressive, such as the hardware price cut, launch of new models, and free software bundles. In particular, Microsoft already cut prices twice in Europe and has been engaged in aggressive promotional activities. Nevertheless, price cuts of other hardware and free software bundles appeared to have rarely affected the Wii sales. Still, bundles can drive popular software into the hands of more consumers. Wii Sports and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe are two examples of games that, yes, are juggernauts, but also benefited significantly from being bundled with machines. In one sense, they were strong enough concepts that people would buy the machine for the games, but in another sense, anyone interested in buying a machine might take a punt on a pack-in featuring these titles, even if ordinarily they might skip them because they are positioned as a great gateway game, games with broad appeal and which exemplify Nintendo. If you're going to buy a Switch, buy Mario Kart. Another practicality at this point is that any bundle they put into the market needs to be able to shift sufficient units that they're not going to have a large amount of stock on hand at the end of the day. Many prior bundles are still available through old stock, so the market choices are broad. Nintendo are good at gauging demand by now, but it's not an exact science, and they need to have packs that they can continue to burn off over the next year or two. So, let's see what they've got. Let's start in the good old US of A, where as far as I can tell, Nintendo are doubling and tripling down on the venerable Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, with both Switch and Switch OLED bundles with the game. As far as I can tell, there are no other branded deals directly from Nintendo, so while individual stores are making their own offers and there might be older stock available, Nintendo is putting all their chips on the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe game to carry them forward in this territory. I have to say, while I think Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is the most likely launch title for the new system next year, this does give me a little bit of cause to pause. Would they want to hype up the current Mario Kart and then, in a mere few months, swap it out for a whole new version of the game? On balance, I still think yes. They were plugging the Wii U Mario Kart bundle through to the end of that system, and as we've established comprehensively by now, the kinds of people picking up a Mario Kart 8 bundle are unlikely to be the kinds of people who are rushing to get the new system in any event. Therefore, it's safe to raise the profile of a Mario Kart at this point, which, let's face it, is selling like gangbusters anyway. In any event, the new system is unlikely to receive a Mario Kart bundle of its own too early on, as there's no reason to bundle in a game potentially at a lower price when it's new and on a console with a smaller range of titles to play anyway. Moving across then to Australia, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is also the order of the day, but only in its OLED mode. There is also an OLED Super Mario Bros. Wonder Pack. Meanwhile, in the UK, there is a much broader range of bundles, including a number of non-branded deals. However, they are still selling Switch Sports with the original Switch, two Animal Crossing New Horizons options with Switch Lites, a Mario Kart 8 Deluxe package. France and Germany have the same as the UK, except for the lack of Animal Crossing New Horizons bundles still being available, although perhaps that's because there were more English language packages produced, so there's more stock still to shift. What's very obvious here is that we know from their choices which games Nintendo consider to be system sellers. Even Super Mario Odyssey only received a bundle in the form of a collector's edition with a special red Joy-Con, a version of the system surely intended more for hardcore collectors than for most everyday consumers. Nintendo will always produce niche versions of consoles, special editions and such like, but a holiday bundle really shows the game that they feel have the capacity to reach strongly into a casual audience crowd. 2D Mario, Mario Kart, Switch Sports, and Animal Crossing being the obvious candidates here. That said, I feel like a 3D Mario would have good potential under different circumstances, but with a new system coming and almost certainly a new 3D Mario title, the company won't risk having lots of old Odyssey bundle stock sitting on shelves next to their bright and shiny new thing and diluting the impact of their marketing. I think they can run the risk a little with the new Mario Kart just because it has one additional element that makes up for this, that being a gateway to the online service. These packs tend to include Mario Kart 8 Deluxe's Booster Course Pass as an extra, as well as a 12-month subscription to the Nintendo Online service. So people with the bundle aren't reliant on keeping the service going, but nevertheless, it is a way to demonstrate the value of the online service that the Booster Course Pass comes with it, and many people do use online, of course, to play Mario Kart. It therefore brings people into Nintendo's ecosystem, and those people are more likely to stick around. I think this is a big reason why Nintendo incorporated online features into Super Mario Bros. Wonder, a game which on the surface doesn't particularly seem to need it. Switch Sports is a little different, of course, but it does have the capability for cooperative play. Any title that encourages collaborative play is an opportunity to expand awareness around Nintendo products. And it's especially clear, particularly from the Australian advertising, that they see Switch Sports as a way still to reach the older markets. Still, 2D Mario, Switch Sports, and Mario Kart are clearly hugely valuable shop window games, and this is why I would expect to see one of these franchises a year, more or less, for the early era of the Switch. The one that might seem the odd one out, of course, is Switch Sports, which was a late arrival on Switch, 5 years in. But recall, firstly, that the same team did develop the similar genre Ring Fit Adventure for holiday 2019's window, and more crucially, Nintendo does have a record of sports pack-ins on Switch early on, with a Mario Tennis Aces and 1-2 Switch pack-in released exclusively in Walmart in 2018. For this reason, I feel 70% confident that we will see some kind of sports pack-in within 3 years on the market of the new system. One other observation is that there don't appear to be any new light bundles, although the previous Animal Crossing New Horizons ones are still being promoted in the UK at least. For this holiday season, it probably makes sense to try to push the higher value machines. The original Switch has better margins, while the OLED has a higher price point, so even if the percentage margin is lower, it is still likely to be more profitable. Still, if we expect these bundles to continue to exist into the new year as old stock is cleared out, it may suggest that Nintendo have a different ambition for the Lite, either a future new bundle with a different game, or perhaps they don't want lots of old Lite stock around the place at all, and instead wish to go down the new 2DS XL route and introduce a different low-cost option for the Switch. Nevertheless, Bundles are only one aspect of Nintendo's broader pricing strategy, and the video on the screen has a deeper analysis of that which you might be interested in viewing. Otherwise, please do subscribe, like, share, check out the Patreon, and I shall see you next time for another Nintendo Forecast.